And then afterwards, I'm going to talk about October 24th. So it's October 24th. The day is here. It's Mary's last birthday in her secondary school life, in her high school life, basically. And I've been wanting to talk to Mary for 3 years. I'm not kidding, 3 years. And yet I can't seem to talk to her because every time she's around, I freeze up. I don't know what to say. I'm afraid that I would embarrass myself. I'm afraid that she would think I'm weird. She would think I'm creepy. Like I don't know. Like, I don't know if this is called a crush or not. It's okay if I and Mary are not going to have a relationship at all. Like, not even friendship. Like, it's okay that I and her are not friends. I just want to at least talk to her. And so it's her birthday. It's her last birthday in her high school life. It's an important day. In the morning, the sky was unnaturally bright and sunny. But it's not a really hot day. Like, there's just really soft and tender breeze, which is really, really nice. The weather's so fucking nice. So I was like, yeah, the weather's so nice. I think it's gonna happen today. I think I'm gonna break the mold. I'm going to talk to Mary. And then here comes lunchtime. So, okay, here's my plan. Here was my plan. I'm going to follow Oliver. Okay, I'm going to, stick around with Oliver. And I know Oliver is a friend of Mary's. So when Oliver tells Mary happy birthday, I'm going to be like, oh yeah, happy birthday. And if Mary returns with a, oh, thank you. Wait, what's your birthday? And I was like, nah, that doesn't matter. It's past already. Which it is. Then we have a conversation. That's my plan. Oliver and Mary didn't really interact for like the first half of that school day. So it was lunchtime. Originally, I wanted to get a takeaway. I want to buy lunch, go back to the classroom, and maybe Mary's gonna be in the classroom during lunchtime. So I didn't buy the lunch at the end. I and Nick and some other boys, Tom's gang, we went to this restaurant and we had lunch there. I ordered noodles, ramen, and I was eating it and I found a cockroach in my bowl of noodles. And at that point, I didn't care. Like, all I thought about was, it's Mary's birthday. I basically used the spoon to spoon away the cockroach, put it on the table, and I kept eating. And it just feels weird. That noodle feels weird. So I raised up my hands. I told the waiter, yo, there's a little fucking cockroach in my soup of noodles. I wasn't this angry. I was just saying, there's a cockroach in my noodles. And the waiter was like, then why are you still eating it? So I just left. I stood up, I left. They give us a 90% discount, which is actually super duper unfair. They should have given us totally free. And if not, then I have the right to report them. But they gave us a 90% discount. And it's just terrible. It's injustice in the plays here. But I didn't even care at that point. It was Mary's birthday. I have to go now. So I just gave up eating. I quickly walked back to school. And on my way back to school from that restaurant, I walked very fast. And Nick was like, why are you walking so fast? I was like, this is my only chance. If I don't do this, I will never be able to do this in my fucking life. So I walked very fast. I walked back to school, and on ground floor, there's an ambulance. So somebody had, passed out. But that's irrelevant. I stayed I stayed on the ground floor for a while because I was a little curious, who passed out, what happened. But I was like, yeah, it's Mary's birthday. I gotta go up. Let's hope that Mary's in my classroom right now, and maybe I'll be able to talk to her. So I went up, and as I was walking up from ground floor, when I passed by the 6C classroom, I didn't hear any sounds. I thought they would be partying because, it's Mary's birthday and everybody cares about Mary. But no, there were no sounds. And I walked from 5th floor to 6th floor. That's when Mary shows up. Mary just left my classroom with her friend. And at that point, it was only me. This is the stairs, and I was going up, and Mary and her friend were walking down. I don't know why. I froze. I didn't stop walking up. I looked, and I couldn't say anything. And then I went back to the classroom, and I really wanted to cry. And not because I wasn't able to talk to Mary. I was super upset with myself. I'm really angry with myself because I didn't have the courage to even say happy birthday. Even when there are not many people around. Like, there's just one friend. I didn't have the courage. And I almost cried. My eyes got wet, and it was terrible. It was just so saddening. And then afterwards we have the chemistry quiz. Actually, 3 quizzes. And I only learned that this quiz exists 2 seconds before this quiz started. Like, earlier that day, everybody's revising chemistry, and I was like, why the hell are you guys revising chemistry? Turns out there's a fucking quiz, and I didn't fucking know about it. Yeah, afterwards, after school, I told Pink something that I shouldn't have told her. Natalie told me that, I'm trying to recall what happened, but basically Natalie told me that Tyrus told her that Tyrus's ex-girlfriend told him that Pink told that ex-girlfriend that he's moving out of her parents' house. So for Pink's sake, I told Pink that this circle of information happens. This circle of information exists. I told Pink because on October 23rd, after school, I left at around 6:30. I was in a McDonald's with Leo and Pink was having a conversation with her elementary school friend. And, Pink asked if she could stay in her friend's house. Her friend denied. And her friend told Tyrus that. Tyrus was Pink's ex-boyfriend. And Tyrus told Natalie, because Natalie's Tyrus' friend, and Natalie told me because I'm Natalie's friend. But I already know because I and Pink are also kind of friends. So I decided to tell Pink that this circle of information exists, and I told her not to blame Natalie. It's not Natalie's fault. And I fucked up. Pink told Betsy about this issue, and Betsy apparently yelled at Tyrus, And I just created this problem. So I had the responsibility to end this. So I told Pink to stop. Just shut it off and don't make matters worse. Don't hurt Tyrus or that ex-girlfriend / elementary school friend person. Anyway, it was after school. Our Chinese teacher came to the classroom because, we had an extra Chinese tutorial class, except I don't have to attend it because it's only for a few people. And I realized that Oliver and Jordana and Adam and Anne and Mary also went to the 6B classroom because they had a maths tutorial class. And, some other people had to do a maths quiz, a re-quiz. And I realized that I still have a chance to talk to Mary on her birthday. I still have a fucking chance. So I waited outside of the 6B classroom. Outside of the 6B classroom, it was a volleyball court. Edward was there playing volleyball with some other people. And I just walked around, just back and forth. I didn't even sit down because I was nervous. I just walked back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth for like 1 straight hour. So here's my new plan. I'm going to walk into the classroom. My original plan is that Mary and some others are going to leave the classroom, and while they were leaving the classroom, I'm going to go in and be like, hey, what's up? Oh, wait, it's your birthday today, right? Happy birthday. That's my original plan. And I realized that it doesn't happen like that. People go out of the room one by one. Oliver left the room, and I was confused. Like, wait, aren't you going to be in Mary's birthday celebration? Oliver left, so I can't go in and use Oliver as an excuse to tell Mary happy birthday. Anne left. The more people leaving that classroom, the riskier it is for me to walk in and tell and slip a happy birthday to Mary. And at the end, Selena even left. Adam left. When Adam wasn't there, I could have just walked in, check out Adam, say something like, yo, Adam, are you still requizzing? Like, yo, when are you gonna leave? Yeah. And I can just turn around, look at Mary and say, oh, happy birthday. I could have done that, but I didn't even have the courage. Adam left. It was only girls in there. I am in a very risky situation. Selena wasn't there. So Selena's pretty much my only hope. But I can't go in and just straight up tell Mary happy birthday because I'd sound like a creep. So I'm kind of waiting for Selena and Mary walking out of the classroom together. And I'm like, hey, Selena. Oh, also, happy birthday. Nope, Selena left. Tyrus left. There was no one else I know in that classroom other than Mary. And I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do. I kept walking back from 5th floor to 6th floor back to the classroom, back to my classroom. And at one point, my Chinese teacher stopped teaching his extra class, went out of the door and asked me to come in. I was like, I'm afraid that I'm going to interrupt you and my Chinese teacher said, no, you're not going to interrupt us. It's fine. Even Miriam was in that class and they all laughed out loud when, I was, taking peeks outside of the classroom. But the main reason why I don't want to go into 6A, my classroom, because I want to be outside 6B when Mary comes out. So at the end, I saw I was outside 6B. Mary came out. This is it. This is fucking it. Mary came out. Her silky black hair, her soft, moist skin, her very faint smile. She just walked out of the classroom, and This, okay, so this is a classroom, this is the corridor, and this is the volleyball court. I was here, and then I saw Mary. Mary just came out of the classroom, and then I walked over here as Mary walked over here because I was expecting her to approach the staircase, and then Mary went back here and went into the volleyball court, and I was right here, and we were this close. We were this close. And then Iris was there. When I was waiting for Mary, Iris and two other of Mary's friends were just waiting outside of the classroom because they wanted to surprise Mary, and I was there. I was this close, and I couldn't speak up. I couldn't speak up. And at the end, I gave up. I know I'm a coward. And I gave up. I just went back up to the outside my classroom. And I was alone and sad while 2 floors below me, because 6A is on 6th floor, 6B is on 5th floor, 6C is on 4th floor, so 2 floors below me. There are screams and laughters of joy, of absolute joy. It's her last birthday in her school, and I'm alone on top. I know it's her birthday. I know it's her birthday. Even Linda forgot about her birthday and made an Instagram story apologizing to her yesterday. I remembered her birthday 2 weeks before her birthday, and yet I couldn't say it at the end. It was fucking depressing, and I waited for so long. Iris actually asked me, Iris, close friend of Mary's, actually asked me, where's Selena and why am I not inside my own classroom? And I said, yeah, it's boring in there, but really, I was outside of my classroom because I wanted to be there when Mary's outside of 6B. But yeah, at the end, I was gonna leave with Topher, Leo, and Adam, but they ignored me, so I went from 6th floor to 1st floor, and I went back to 6th floor. And then later on, I realized that other boys are, the potato gang, they're staying behind to play ball, so I left alone. And I went back down again from 6th floor. And then I walked to a mall nearby, to the Starbucks, because Natalie said she's gonna be in Starbucks. So I went to that Starbucks and I saw Anne and Grant. And we talked about Jordana and Russ. Apparently before I arrived Starbucks, Jordana and Russ were there, and it was awkward. And then later on I showed up, and I was sad again. I was just sad. Earlier that day, I almost cried twice, and Natalie saw it. But yeah, anyway, at that moment, I was still really sad, and Natalie said I'm sad, but I wouldn't say why am I sad. I wouldn't say that I'm upset with my poor social skills. And the fact that I freeze every time I try to talk to Mary. Mary's a special person. I don't think she's like the best person in the world. Neither is she a bad person, but like, she's a special person, and I would like to talk to her. We don't have to be friends. We don't have to be like in a relationship at all. I just want to say hi. I just want her to remember me, to remember that I exist. I mean, we were friends for 2 months, but like, now all I want is that she would remember that I exist. And I don't know, and I don't know if it's true anymore. But yeah, anyway, I was sad, and but later on I relieved myself, and I talked about funny things. I talked about memes. I sent 4 memes to Anne, memes that I made, and at the end of the day, Natalie told me about the problem that I caused with the whole pink situation, and I left at around 7 p.m. and I was too sad and broken up to make an album review. So yeah, next day, October 25th, Last page on my diary. Pink cried again during English oral class. I didn't know what to say to her. I tried to comfort her, I guess. Hans told me that Leo and Pink argued, but they were still talking afterwards, so I don't think that's what happened. Hopefully Pink wasn't crying because of what I did. But yeah, anyway. Hopefully Tyrus doesn't know that I caused this problem. If Tyrus knows, then Tyrus is gonna hate me and will kill me. So after lunch, me and Nick, we saw Idris and Tyrus, and Nick went up to Tyrus. And Idris came up to me, shook his head, and said, #SavePink. Which is, I find hilarious. Anyway, afterwards, Topher yelled at Natalie, and Natalie was super angry. And, yeah, Topher's being a real bitch. And Natalie said people think, Topher's in the right. People pity Topher, but in fact, Topher's a perverted, filthy son of a bitch who stinks. But yeah. Anyway, Mary's 18 now. She's 18. Yeah, that's it. That's all I need to say. I don't know if I still have a chance to speak to Mary, but if I do, I will tell her that. Remember when we were still friends, like 5 years ago, you bought this notebook and told me to use it as a diary and write the word detective on top. Guess what? I'm still writing diaries, and I'm on my 6th diary, about to be 7. If it weren't for Mary, I wouldn't write diaries. It was her. She made me do this, and I'm happy that she did. But yeah, anyway, it's about to be midterms, and I don't think I'll be able to talk to Mary anytime during the midterms, so yeah. I'm a failure, and I don't know why I freeze up every time I see Mary, but there's that. Time now is 12:50 after midnight on October 28th. I'm about to have the English reading midterms test and physics term test tomorrow, the first day of the midterms, also known as my last midterms in my life. And I'm gonna have that test at about 7 hours later. Gonna sleep around 10 minutes later, and I'm just gonna originally I wanted to read a little Chinese, but I realized that I don't have that much time on my hands, so I'm just gonna quickly go through some important physics stuffs, and then I'll slumber. Let's go. Earlier today, I don't know what the hell's wrong with me, but Natalie told me that she and Kingsley will be having a little study session in a cafe, and I was like, hey, that's cool. And then she told me, hey, Grant is coming too. Grant. So I'm like, oh, that's cool. And then so they started studying since like 12 noon, and I had to have lunch with some family relatives, yeah, technically, and I had to do some stuffs in the library because of this weird problem thing, and then I also had to had some tea in another cafe nearby the central library. So I arrived at that study cafe at around 6 something p.m. or 7 p.m. and Oliver also came. So all 5 of us, we studied physics together, And it was pretty fun. But it was also pretty saddening for me because I looked around and I realized I'm the only one there who hasn't had a romantic relationship before. Yeah. But I guess I shouldn't really care about that because no matter how hard I try, I will probably not get a girlfriend. Well, in Hong Kong anyway. Anyway, it's time for some physics. The syllabus for physics test this time is really weird. It's heat, gas, and energy. And we have studied things like force and motion and radiation and other stuffs, and all of these chapters also involve a little bit of energy, like kinetic energy, potential energy, and a nuclear energy, electrical energy. And so the syllabus of this test is basically a little bit of most of the chapters. Anyway, we'll start off with heat, where there isn't really much to talk about other than there are several kinds of thermometers: liquid and glass, infrared, rotary, that's my favorite, and C as in specific heat capacity. But other than that, we also have a specific heat capacity for a specific the energy changes, the internal energy changes, I think. And we also have different types of heat transmission. We have conduction, convection, and radiation, and then afterwards we have gas, which is one of my least favorite chapters in physics. Of course, the pressure is going to be like twice larger, twice greater. Yeah, that's pretty cool. We have an ideal gas, which follows three over two RT. Kinetic energy of a molecule is 3 over 2 RT divided by Avogadro's number. So we have all that. Nuclear energy, all we need to study is nuclear fusion and fission. But they are negligible in the process because they're math. Like a couple hundred U, and there's another value for U.